Hi, this is Torin Talks, and I am finally getting around to reviewing Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode number 10, Mother's Mercy. This review is a little late, but we're just gonna roll with it. I wasn't really super shocked at anything that happened in the season finale. It pretty much went how I was expecting it to, except for one or two little caveats that I'll talk about, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're gonna just jump right into it. King's Landing, let's start there. You have Cersei finally going to confess, but she doesn't confess to everything. She confesses to, knocking boots with Lancel, but she doesn't confess to the murder of Robert, nor does she confess that she had an incestuous relationship with Jaime, and that is because if she did that, then Tommen wouldn't be king, and everything she did would just be for nothing. So she's not going to admit that, but she did admit to the Lancel thing, because they really can't, it's bad, but it's not as bad as, regicide or, placing an imposter on the throne. So they make her strip and do the, walk of shame back to the Red Keep. And that nun is just ringing the bell behind her, just shame, shame. And, at first Cersei is kind of going through it, and as she goes on, the crowd is just vicious because they are finally seeing a Lannister's fall from grace, basically. And they are just merciless on her. By the time she gets to the Red Keep, she's just destroyed mentally. And Qyburn is the only one that seems to give a damn. Kevin and Pycelle are just standing there kind of like, what are you gonna do, And I thought Lena Headey's acting in that scene was great, even though I know she used a body double, but her facial expression and the tonality really evoked Cersei, and you really couldn't tell, besides a little couple of wonky CGI things, that it wasn't really Lena Headey doing the walk. Qyburn tells her that they have a new member of the King's Guard, Sir Robert Strong, aka Franken Mountain. So yeah, Mountain from last season, Sandor's brother, the Hound's brother, the one that smashed Oberyn's head like a grape, is now Franken Monster, created by Qyburn. When he picks Cersei up, the look on her face, I know she's just gonna wreck stuff. Whoever's done her wrong, watch out. Dany is kind of on her own, wandering around. Meanwhile, she's left Meereen, and you have Tyrion, Jorah, and Dario all sitting in the Great Pyramid trying to figure out what the hell they're gonna do. And so they decide to go get Dany or try to find her, but someone needs to rule in Meereen, and that person is going to be Tyrion Lannister, and along with Missandei and Grey Worm. And then Varys shows up, and he's going to be, I guess, the Master of Whispers in Meereen now, so that's going to be cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing what, all that's going to take place in Meereen next season. Then you have Dany, Drogon is injured and he just wants to sleep, and he's like, yeah, mom, leave me alone, I'm busy. And so she's wandering around, and boom, lo and behold, she runs into a Khalasar, and she drops the ring. Oh no, she dropped the ring so someone can find her later, or she's like, I don't want them to know I'm married, somebody else, whatever. But she runs back into the Dothraki, so she's kind of coming full circle with that. In Bravos, you have Arya, who finally gets the jump on Meryn to Old Trent. I thought the fact that he was hitting little girls and had to be like a pedophile, I thought that was redundant. We already knew he was kind of like a dick bag because of all the stuff he was doing when he was with Joffrey and Cersei. I felt like that was a little heavy-handed. Okay, we get it, he's a douche, but it's fine. And he gets taken out by Arya, and that scene was awesome. She just went crazy on his ass, and I enjoy seeing that. She gets back to the House of Black and White, and they're like, you killed someone that you weren't supposed to kill, and then Jaqen, or no one, the man, drunk the poison and he died, and then the waif turns into that guy. So it was just a whole big thing where Arya kind of realized she wasn't ready to still face and do that, and her punishment for that is being blind. And so now Arya is blind, and I don't know how she's gonna get around without seeing. She just couldn't let go of Arya Stark. She just couldn't let go of her revenge, and Meryn Trant was one of those people, and she just couldn't let it go. She couldn't let him live, and she paid the price for it. And you also have Dorne, and you have Jaime and Ron getting ready to leave Dorne, and everyone's saying their goodbyes, and you have Arya kiss Myrcella on the lips, and then they get onto the boat. Jaime tries to tell her that he's his father, and then she's like, yo, I already know what's up. I know who you are. I know you're my dad, and it's cool. Like, I'm cool with it. And they had this little cute, heartwarming moment, and then she starts bleeding out of her nose, and she falls out. I don't know if she passed out or she's dead, but it's not looking good for Myrcella. And then you see back on the shore, the sand snakes are standing there, and Arya takes the antidote, so she's gonna be fine. But I don't know if Doran was in on it or not, or what. Is she working off his orders, or did she really have a death wish? Like, I'm confused as hell about that. And just the whole Dorne thing in general, I know that it hasn't been a lot of people's favorite, and it really wasn't my favorite. I mean, they had little subtle character building moments for like Jaime, but it wasn't enough to me to match what happened in the book. And I hate comparing the books to the show because I feel like they're own entities, but in this case I feel like it's necessary, because around this time in the books, Jaime and Cersei's relationship completely disintegrates and dissolves, and he finally sees her for the monster that everyone sees. And a huge part of that is him, all the time he spent with Brienne, and then him coming back to King's Landing and seeing how things really are, and not having his hand, and having, to deal with all of these other things. But they didn't touch on that part of Jaime. Like, his relationship with Cersei is a huge motivator for a lot of decisions that he's made. I mean, the first thing we know him for is pushing Bran out the window, and that was because Bran saw him. A lot of his motivations have been Cersei. So I don't know if they're just pushing that back to next season, but I really want to see that relationship implode this season. So I'm kind of bummed I didn't get to see that from Jaime, but it's still okay. I mean, Dorne was my favorite because it seemed very isolated, and even though Dorne's supposed to be exotic and wild, and I feel like Dorne should be like when you go on vacation to somewhere like Morocco or somewhere cool and it's exotic, and you see all these people and they're colorful and bright and vibrant and alive, and it's just some people hanging out in the gardens, and girls running around like people don't know who they are. Anyway. Go over to, I'm going to do Winterfell, Stannis, that whole deal. He gets up, Melisandre's talking to him. He finds out that half of the sellsword companies are gone. They took off with the horses after he burned Shireen alive. That kind of bummed them out, and I guess they were like, yeah, this dude's crazy. He also finds out that Selyse has hung herself in the night, killed herself, and I am presuming this is over what happened with Shireen. She just couldn't live with the fact that she let her daughter burn alive. And I know a lot of people were not too happy about that, but hey, at least Selyse kind of has some remorse in the end, which I thought was kind of redeeming her character, because she was just kind of an asshole the whole time to Shireen. So maybe that really emotionally weighed on her more than she thought. And then you have Melisandre leaving Stannis' ass in the snow. She heads back to Castle Black, leaves Stannis where he is. So he says, we're just going to go forward to Winterfell. Lo and behold, it is not going to be a siege, because the Bolton's army is out in cavalry, full effect, surrounds Stannis' little crew. Yeah, all those guys pretty much end up getting killed. Stannis kind of lives. Some dudes try to go after him. He takes them out, and he runs into Brienne of Tarth. Brienne is like, yeah, this is for Renly, and I'm going to kill you. Stannis is just at this point, Stannis has lost everything. He's lost his army, he's lost Dragonstone, he's lost Shireen, he lost Selyse, he's lost everything that he was fighting for. So he's like, you know what? Just do your duty. And then you see the smash cut. You never see her chop his head off, but it's pretty good to say that Stannis is, no longer with us, but you never know. And right as Brienne goes to go handle Stannis, Sansa finally gets out with her little Chekhov's corkscrew. And so Sansa goes up there and she lights the candle. Nobody's there, but Sansa's like, I'm getting the heck out of this crazy place before Ramsay comes back and kills me. So she's trying to get out of Dodge. And then you see Miranda, Ramsay's little side dish. She comes in and she's like, yeah, I'm not going to let you go anywhere. And she threatens her with the bow and arrow. And, she's like, basically, once Ramsay gets a baby out of you, he's just going to torture you and kill you. And I can't wait to help him do that. Reek hears all this, and he's like, he knows what the torture of Ramsay can do to you, and I guess he doesn't want Sansa to go through that, so he pushes the other chick off the side of the thing, and her head splats that, her death, I usually don't advocate death on people in Game of Thrones since it happens so much, but she had that one coming, like, that bitch needed to go. And so she curse splats, and Theon, because he's not Reek anymore, I believe at this point, or he's going back to Theon. So Theon and Sansa get out of Dodge. They jump off the side of Winterfell into the snowbank, and that's pretty much where their arc ends. And then you have the Wall, and you have Sam going to Jon and saying, look, we need a maester. I'm pretty much the only person that's can be the maester, and I need to go do this. And besides, Gilly and the baby, you need to get the hell away from here because everybody around here is crazy, and I'm gonna die, and she's gonna die, and the baby's gonna die. Me protecting them, we're trying to, against these crazy people. And so Jon lets them go. I know people were upset because in the books it doesn't really happen like that, but whatever. The point is, Sam has to go to Old Town to become a maester. That's exactly what happened. So the nitpicking that people have been doing is just killing me, but it's really cool. But anyway, so he leaves, and Jon's at the Wall all alone with not too many allies. All the wildlings come in from Hardhome, and they're there, and everybody's not happy about that. So you see him read some letters, just dickering around, and Ollie comes in and he tells them that one of the wildlings know where his Uncle Benjen is that says he's still alive, and blah blah blah. So he runs down there, and and he sees the sign says traitor, and then next thing you know, Alistair Thorne stabs him and says for the watch, and all the Night's Watchmen that were in this little group follow suit, so they all stab Jon, and the last knife is Ollie. And I told you that kid was in trouble from the first time they kept showing him. So I knew this was going to happen. I knew the kid was going to be in on it, because that kid's a fucking dildo. But anyway, yeah, so they stab Jon, and he's bleeding out into the snow, and he seemingly dies. And that is the last shot of the episode. Overall for this season, I knew that, like I said before, it was going to be a slow burn, so I wasn't expecting too many pops. Hardhome, definitely the best episode of the season, hands down. And Jon Snow's character arc this season has been one of the most interesting. I can't wait to see what Tyrion and Varys are going to do in Meereen. Littlefinger's still running around somewhere in King's Landing too. I don't know what Littlefinger's doing, but the fact that I haven't seen him around, I think he's plotting something for next season. The fates of Stannis, Myrcella, and Jon are seemingly unknown. And Dany too, because we don't know what's going to happen to her either. So it's on a lot of cliffhangers. So I definitely want to know what's going to happen. And there's no more book material. There's no more source material. So unless Winds of Winter comes out before next season, we're all in the dark together for the first time, which I think is very interesting. And I still want to see what, I still think the show has some good things ahead. So I would give this season 7 out of 10. 7-ish. Yeah, 7. Yeah, because for Hard Home, just for Hard Home, I'd give it good marks. But then a couple other things drag it down. So I'd say I give this season a 7 out of 10. 6.5, maybe 7, somewhere around there. Yeah. So this has been my Game of Thrones review, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I shall see you in my next video.